When I started to compete in bodybuilding in 1999, after my first show, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to do an Isaac Mizrahi Unzipped from one show to another, and all that went on in between all of that.
How many times a week do you shoot?
2.
Your cycles last for about how long? 8 weeks?
10 months.
10? You don't go off roads for 10 months?
I'm not going to.
How many cycles have you done?
3 or 4.
So how important is this contest to you?
It's very important. It's like everything. It's like my whole life. I'm going to get my trophy. It's not a question I want it. I knew that I had to have a career and stuff to be able to afford it, and so I spent a lot of time doing that, like being an artist, and so that took me like away from it for a really long time. And now that I can afford it, and I have a good career, it's like, okay, great, like, just do it. And it's a big show, too. Like, my trainer keeps saying, like, he has a big show.
I was in 10th grade, and I remember there was this guy named Kelly, and he had really muscular forearms and the veins that would pop out when he, like, put his arm down at the side. And I just couldn't take it. Like, when he did that, it was like, okay, yeah, that's what I want. You don't choose bodybuilding. Bodybuilding chooses you. Self-respect, self-love, even with the drugs, even with taking things that people warned me about and begged me to not, I still find a great deal of self-love there. And I don't necessarily do it to try to prove something to myself, and I don't do it to try to be this sort of masculine, manly man, because quite frankly, even inside of this, you know, muscular sort of life that I have now and being buff and being a bodybuilder, I'm no less gay than I ever was. It's better to regret the things that you have done than the things you haven't. It's healing to me, it's therapeutic, and if I didn't do that, I would spend my life wanting to do that. I would hate to get to be like 40 or 45 years old and be watching ESPN and see a bodybuilding competition and be one of those people, oh, I could have done that, I was gonna do that. So I did that.
I like that structure for a film that I wanted to do about being an out gay competitive bodybuilder. Not a professional, it's just my hobby. I mean, I obviously am a professional editor, music video editor, commercial editor. However, this is something I do, and I'm proud to do it out of the closet, which was not at all common. In fact, I was the only person I knew competing out of the closet in 1999. My trainer was gay, but he wasn't out of the closet. That's not brave. That's not a thing. You know what I mean? There's lots of gay guys that compete in the closet. I felt really compelled to do a documentary about myself, a self-portrait, not a documentary, but a self-portrait where I would express myself. I had also just read this book by Dennis Hensley, I think is the author's name. It was called Misadventures in the 213. And I jokingly said, after I finished reading the book, I said, oh, I would call mine Living the Dream in the 310. And so I was like, I'm gonna make this movie called Living the Dream in the 310, and it's gonna be my gay bodybuilding movie. I set off to make my gay bodybuilding movie and documented different things in between the first show and what would be the next show. Over 3 years, not documenting a ton of progress, but making progress and doing different shoots along the way. Certainly shooting my off-season look, which was very pudgy and round. Wanting to do this self-portrait, make this statement about being an out gay competitive bodybuilder working in Hollywood. Around this time that I'm making this movie, my best friend Celeste gets a dinner invite from her best friend Nadia, who has started seeing someone she loves a lot. She's fallen in love. She's really excited to introduce us to this man that she's dating. We go to dinner at Frank's house. That's his name, Frank. Frank lives in the Hollywood Hills with Nadia. We go to their house for dinner. Frank is quite a bit older than Nadia. Adorable and lovely and amazing. He's in his 70s and Nadia's in her 30s. Not really like paying attention to Frank really that much. He's just Nadia's older boyfriend at this point. And all of a sudden it's revealed at the dinner table through conversation where people are interacting and talking to Frank that Frank is Frankie Blands. He ran Paramount Pictures for 25 years. He produced the Godfather series. He produced and wrote Mommy Dearest. When I heard that, I was oh my God. After dinner, Frank says, let's step out onto the veranda. And so we go out, we're overlooking Los Angeles. We're talking, oh, what are you, I'm making my movie. Oh, what's your movie called? LTD in the 310. And LTD, stands short for limited. LTD in the 310 really means living the dream in the 310. So I said, LTD in the 310. Frank, that's a terrible title. I was like, oh my God. Why? Why is my title that I thought was super cute all of a sudden not cute anymore? And there goes my project and all my excitement, enthusiasm from all my confidence. He said, what's your movie about? I said, well, you know, it's about being a out gay competitive bodybuilder while working in the industry in Hollywood. He said, give me a minute. Pumping Velvet. That's the title of your movie, kid. Pumping Velvet. And it's actually the name of a song that exists already, but he put it together on his own. And it's not from a song. It's Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, well, Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Velvet Mafia. They run Hollywood, you know. He was a character. He's this fantastic old school Hollywood man. I felt like it was being handed down by the voice of God, and that a straight man wrote Mommy Dearest. I love that. Pumping Velvet was now going to be the title of my film. Shoot more, finish my film. Pumping Velvet is a self-portrait. It's not necessarily a documentary. It's not completely a narrative film, but it's not. It's an experimental film because I'm an experimental filmmaker. So it's an experimental narrative film. It has elements of documentary in it, but then it has elements of fantasy, a complete removal, and then reality. My idea was, my whole life I'd been exiting movie theaters where I'd just seen really irresponsible images of homosexual characters. I always said someday I want to compile all of these irresponsible, stereotypical images and juxtapose them against reality-based imagery about what it means to be a gay man in the world today. I did just that. I archived like 6 hours worth of clips from things that I'd seen over the years. There's about 20 minutes worth of clips in the final edit of Pumping Velvet. And the clips are interspersed in between scenes from my life of me growing up, animation. There's animation sequences in the film. See, so it's not just a strict documentary. It was this complex multimedia fine art experimental film that just needed to be what it was going to be. Also, I wanted to use all of the music from all the music videos I've worked on. I don't want to have to do sound alikes, and I don't want to not put the music. Again, same reason I'm not on social media is going to be one of the reasons, one of the contributing reasons as to why I don't want to charge for this movie, why I can't charge for this movie, but I don't want to anyway. It's a gauche to charge for my life story portrait. There should be something that's given away for free, but to the right people. I finished this film. I glassmaster 10,000 DVDs of this film that I'm going to send out into the world. How am I going to do that? I place an ad, a full-page ad in Circuit Noise magazine. What's Circuit Noise magazine? At the time, it was a magazine that existed for the international gay circuit. So all the gay circuit parties that you would go to would be listed in this international guide for people who want to go on this international whirlwind journey every year. So, you know, you're in Sydney, you're in Melbourne, you're in Palm Springs, you're in New York, you're in Boston, you're in P-Town, you're in Miami, you're in Paris, you're in Barcelona. They would all appear in this magazine called Circuit Noise that my friends in the Valley did. I ended up meeting them, they're really nice guys. So they would come out 4 times a year. I paid for my ad to come out 4 times in this magazine that was international. And I thought it was the perfect place, and it was. I ended up finding my tiny little niche audience to give my safe little private precious, perfect little DVD to. And they would totally get it. And most people did. There were a few people that were not having any of it, but it elicited a very powerful response. Very few people, very few, only those people trying to annoy the shit out of me. I'm indifferent. People were either like, oh my God, it's fucking great, or oh my God, I fucking hate you. There was very, very little in between. Most people were really positive about it. I got all this incredible feedback over the internet by sending these free DVDs out to anyone who would send me their address. All you had to do was send me your address. I covered postage and handling. I paid for the free DVDs. I included a DVD of my show reel. People loved it. I got feedback from all over the planet. All over the world. 10,000 DVDs went off like fireworks. There were stories of boyfriends. Always there would be couples where one would really love me and love my DVD, and the other one would just be enraged that he had to like hear it and watch it one more time because the guy had just overplayed it and he was so sick of me and my bodybuilding movie. So many people asked me, and it's a legitimate question, especially in Hollywood, why did you include all these clips to make it so that you couldn't even sell it, like ever, to anyone, to any platform or whatever? It's underground, it's renegade. Renegade is my word. I like renegade to describe the kind of artist I am. And I like being that renegade artist because I like making work that has a strong impact, that leaves a lasting impression on my viewer. And I want to be able to use whatever I have to get that response. And this is a really good document of that. And it is on my website. I sometimes it will be public, sometimes it's private. It just depends on my mood. Mostly it stays private. It's too precious. People will just rip it apart. It was great to send it out to this core niche audience because it was protected by this safetyness of the tininess of this niche magazine audience. It was a great way to do it. And it's never been put online except one day for the 10th anniversary. 1,000 views in one day online. It has its own little world that it exists in, but it must stay safe and protected. It's still the only gay bodybuilding movie. 22 years later, it's still the only gay bodybuilding movie. So many people would ask why it protects me. I don't have to be responsible for some of the content. It's intense. They're intense moments. I assassinate Eminem in the movie. There's stuff you want to protect yourself from. I don't want to be world famous for this thing. I want to be well known among my core audience who just think I'm awesome. That's good enough for me. My shit isn't for everyone. I'm not interested in making that kind of work. I think enough people make really incredible work that's meant for everyone. That's not the kind of artist I'm interested in being. And I always said to these people asking me, I said, if it touches one person, if it changes one person's life, the truth of my life, if it touches one person, it's this profound effect, and it had profound effect on many people. If it touches one person, I'd always say, then it's worth it. Worth $620,000, all of this running around, if I changed one life and had a really profound effect on it, the way other films have had a profound effect on me, like Isaac Mizrahi Unzipped. That had a profound effect on me. It made me want to stand up and do my gay life, my gay documentary, my gay self-portrait, my journey from show to show. On the DVD, there was a hotline. I set up a landline in my loft, a second landline for calls to come in specifically for Pumping Velvet. So on the DVDs, Pumping Velvet phone number. I would get calls on the hotline from people who had just watched it over the course of like maybe the 2 years that it was being sent out. I wish I could have saved them, and I tried at one point recording, and I even bought the special device, and I just could never get it to work right. And it was 2003, 2004. I didn't get it together to save them, but I wish I had. Because one night I'm going up to bed and my phone rings and it's late, and I'm like, you know what, I'll get it in the morning. I'm just gonna let it go to voicemail. Because sometimes I pick up and talk to people. But I was tired. I said, screw it, I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. Get up the next morning and I listen to the voicemail, and it's this black boy from Atlanta, young black boy, crying, sobbing. I start to cry when I think about it. Oh my God, it's so sad. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. He said, no, nobody's ever gonna tell me I'm nothing again. And that's it. That's the person I made it for. He didn't tell me his name. He's like, I just watched Pumping Velvet 2 times back to back, and I just want to tell you, nobody's ever going to tell me I'm nothing again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I was like, that's it. That guy, like that kid in Atlanta. Like, it made me so happy. As an artist, it's so fulfilling. I can't tell that story without bursting into tears because it was so significant. It was so powerful. And until this day, because it gives me this response, I'm very, very sure I did the right thing in doing it the way that I did. It's still the only gay bodybuilding movie in 2025. I'll talk about that when I talk to you about the first gay action hero movie, which I've been making for years.